Urban legends, the spine-chilling tales told around campfires or as bedtime stories, have the power to instill fear, paranoia, or simply keep individuals on their best behavior. This iceberg dives into a spectrum of notable urban legends, ranging from those you may encounter frequently to stories with profoundly disturbing backstories. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. The first entry is Gray Alien. The Gray Alien urban legend is an enduring myth ingrained in popular culture, characterized by gray skin, large heads, almond-shaped black eyes, and thin bodies. These extraterrestrial beings are often associated with alien abductions and encounters. Fueled by UFO sightings, conspiracy theories, and media portrayals, the legend gained prominence in the 20th century, further intensified by the Roswell UFO incident in 1947. Loch Ness Monster. The Loch Ness Monster revolves around a mysterious creature said to inhabit Scotland's Loch Ness. Described as a long-necked, humped creature resembling a dinosaur, sightings date back to the 20th century. While the infamous 1934 photograph turned out to be a hoax, the legend persists, inspiring numerous expeditions and investigations. Despite reported sightings, conclusive evidence of the monster's existence remains elusive. Area 51. The Area 51 legend centers on a highly secretive U.S. military facility in the Nevada desert. Shrouded in mystery and conspiracy theories, Area 51 is believed by some to house extraterrestrial encounters, alien technology, and remnants of the 1947 Roswell UFO incident. The extreme secrecy surrounding the facility, restricted airspace, and armed guards contribute to its status as a focal point for government secrecy and extraterrestrial mysteries. Bigfoot. The Bigfoot legend focuses on the elusive humanoid creature said to inhabit remote wilderness areas, particularly in North America. Described as a towering, ape-like figure covered in hair or fur, Bigfoot has been a subject of numerous sightings, anecdotes, and investigations. Despite lacking scientific evidence, the legend persists, with enthusiasts embarking on expeditions and TV shows dedicated to uncovering the truth behind this cryptid. Boogeyman. The Boogeyman, an enduring figure in various cultures, transcends borders as a supernatural entity used to instill fear in misbehaving children. Depicted as a malevolent being lurking in the shadows, the Boogeyman often serves as a disciplinary tool, a timeless and universal part of folklore known by different names worldwide. In the United States, he's simply the Boogeyman. Parents or caregivers utilize this myth to warn children that if they don't behave or go to sleep, the Boogeyman may come for them. Men in Black. The Men in Black urban legend introduces mysterious figures donned in black suits and sunglasses, believed to intimidate witnesses of UFO sightings or extraterrestrial encounters. Descriptions of these enigmatic individuals often involve an air of intimidation, suggesting that they are government agents or even aliens themselves. The legend connects to the Roswell UFO incident, with claims of recovered alien technology hidden at Area 51. Bloody Mary. The Bloody Mary legend is a spooky and enduring urban tale involving a ghostly apparition that materializes in a mirror under specific conditions. A common ritual entails chanting Bloody Mary a specific number of times while gazing into a darkened mirror. The summoning is believed to bring forth the ghost of a woman who suffered a tragic or gruesome death, with variations suggesting potential harm to the summoner. Candyman. The Candyman urban legend centers around a fictional character associated with a supernatural killer, summoned through a mirror by repeating his name multiple times. The most common chant is Candyman, repeated 5 times in a darkened room. In pop culture, Candyman is portrayed as a hook-handed vengeful spirit or killer who appears to those who summon him, bringing terror or death. The next tier, Spider Bite. The spider bite urban legend weaves a narrative around a person waking up with a mysterious and painful spider bite, typically on a limb or easily accessible area. As the story unfolds, the person's condition worsens, leading them to seek medical attention. The twist involves the doctor revealing that a highly venomous spider had laid eggs under their skin during the bite, necessitating surgery for removal. The Hook. An enduring urban legend, The Hook, tells of a young couple frightened by a radio news report about a dangerous mental patient with a hook for a hand. The couple, situated in a secluded area, hears the warning and decides to leave. Upon returning home, they discover a hook hanging from their car door handle, suggesting a narrow escape from the potentially dangerous escaped patient. The Kidney Thieves. The Kidney Thieves urban legend is a well-known and persistent tale that typically involves an unsuspecting person waking up in a bathtub full of ice. The chilling discovery, literally, is accompanied by a note stating that their kidneys have been removed and are being sold on the black market. While being purely fictional, this urban legend serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of trusting strangers or traveling alone. Glad you didn't turn on the lights. This narrative revolves around a widespread urban legend featuring a young university girl whose close friend faces a gruesome murder while she is collecting her belongings. Subsequently, she becomes the target of the assailant. Two college roommates shared the same science class. The teacher reminded them about the upcoming midterm, prompting one roommate, let's call her Julie, to receive an invitation to a major party from the school's most attractive guy. On the other hand, the second roommate, Meg, displayed little to no interest in attending. Being a diligent student, Meg focused on taking her notes for the impending test. Despite spending the class period flirting with her date, Julie was unprepared for the test. In contrast, Meg was locked and loaded. After a day of Julie attempting to persuade Meg to join the party, Meg would not change her mind. Despite their closeness, they were feeling conflicted. Finally, Julie gave up, planning to cram in homeroom the next day. She attended the party, thoroughly enjoying herself with her date. Returning to the dorm around 2 a.m., she decided not to disturb Meg. Anxious about the midterm, Julie decided to wake up early and seek Meg's assistance. Upon waking up, Julie approached Meg only to discover her lying on her stomach, apparently sound asleep. Rolling Meg over, Julie was shocked to see Meg's terrified expression. Turning on the desk lamp, she found Meg's study materials covered in blood. Meg had been brutally murdered. In shock, Julie glanced at the message written on the wall in Meg's blood. "Aren't you glad he didn't turn on the lights?" The Killer in the Back Seat. This chilling urban legend unfolds with a woman driving, unaware that she's being followed by a mysterious car or truck. The pursuer flashes high beams, tailgates, and sometimes rams her vehicle. Upon reaching her destination, whether home or a gas station, she discovers a crucial revelation. The driver behind was attempting to warn her of a lurking murderer hiding in the back seats. Variations of the story add layers of suspense, including gas station attendants, dolls on the road, and encounters with a crazed person. In a surprising twist, the woman seeks refuge at a police station, only for law enforcement to unveil the hidden killer behind the driver's seat, further blurring the lines behind reality and the supernatural. Humans can lick too. This urban legend introduces a very young girl home alone with her loyal dog as her only companion. Upon hearing news of a killer on the loose in her neighborhood, she secures all doors and windows, except for an overlooked basement window. Terrified, she brings her dog into her room for comfort. In the night, she hears a dripping sound from the bathroom. Too scared to investigate, she extends her hands for the dog, receiving a reassuring lick. The horrifying revelation comes the next morning when she finds her mutilated dog in the shower, its blood forming a message on the wall. Humans can lick too. The fate of the dog varies, adding to the gruesome nature of the tale. Whether hanged, skinned, or some other gruesome stuff, the story's eerie climax leaves a lasting impact. The legend often concludes with the killer remaining elusive, perpetrating the suspenseful ambiguity that lingers long after the story is told. Corpse in the bed. This legend tells of a couple who checked into a hotel only to discover an unpleasant odor in their room. During the night, they decided to alert hotel staff about the smell, and upon investigation, it was revealed that the stench was coming from the bed. The staff member peered under the bed, only to find that the couple had been sleeping on top of the decomposing body of a girl crammed inside a box. What adds an eerie dimension to this story is that similar incidents have occurred multiple times in cities such as Las Vegas, Kansas City, Missouri, Atlantic City, New Jersey, Florida, and California. This narrative is not merely a fabricated urban legend, but has occurred on several occasions. Body in the water tank. One of the most perplexing and disturbing mysteries in recent years involves Alyssa Lamb, a 20-year-old Canadian student who embarked on a solo trip to Los Angeles in January 2013. She checked into the Cecil Hotel, a historic yet notorious establishment with a troubled history and associations with crime and dark events. The intrigue surrounding Alyssa Lamb's death began when she mysteriously disappeared. Her parents reported her missing after several days of no contact. Hotel staff and other guests claimed to have witnessed her acting strangely in the days leading up to her disappearance. This odd behavior was captured in a chilling elevator surveillance video, where Alyssa could be seen pushing multiple buttons, peering out as if hiding from someone, and making erratic hand gestures. The footage is haunting and has fueled numerous theories and speculations. The search for Alyssa Lamb concluded tragically on February 19, 2013, when her lifeless body was discovered in one of the hotel's rooftop water tanks. Adding to the disturbing nature of her death, hotel guests have been using the water from the water tanks for various purposes while she was missing. An autopsy report later determined Alyssa Lamb's cause of death was accidental drowning. Despite this explanation, public curiosity and suspicions persisted. Many questioned the official findings, with theories ranging from foul play to paranormal or supernatural causes. The Cecil Hotel's history of violent deaths and its association with infamous criminals like Richard Ramirez only intensified the mystery. The internet played a significant role in amplifying the case's widespread attention, with online armchair detectives and amateur investigators scrutinizing every detail, analyzing surveillance footage frame by frame, and proposing various theories. Numerous documentaries and books were inspired by the case, further fueling public interest. Despite the intense scrutiny, Alyssa Lamb's death was officially ruled as an accidental drowning, with her bipolar disorder cited as a contributing factor. The eerie elevator video, initially sparking speculation about foul play or paranormal events, was explained as a manifestation of her mental health struggles. Bipolar disorder can lead to manic or depressive episodes, and her behavior in the elevator may have been a manifestation of her psychological state at that time. The man under the car. This is a timeless urban legend that has circulated in various forums for years. This narrative typically involves an individual driving alone at night who becomes aware of an unusual noise coming from their vehicle. Upon stopping to investigate, they make a startling discovery: a mysterious figure hiding beneath the car. The specifics of the story can vary, but it consistently incorporates elements of fear, suspense, and the unexpected. In some versions, the person under the car is portrayed as a criminal or dangerous individual, while in others, it turns out to be a well-intentioned person attempting to warn the driver of a potentially dangerous situation. Urban legends, like the man under the car, often function as cautionary tales, reminding people to exercise caution when traveling alone at night or just in unfamiliar places. While these stories are typically fictional, intended to entertain or spook listeners, they surely can happen in real life, or who knows, maybe they already have. Halloween hanging. This eerie tale takes on various forms and adaptations, but its core elements often center around a chilling discovery made by unsuspecting individuals on Halloween night. In one version of the legend, a group of teenagers decides to explore a desolate, supposedly haunted area at night, drawn by whispers of strange occurrences. As they navigate through the darkness, they stumble upon an unsettling scene: a lifeless body suspended from a tree by a hangman's noose, eerily swaying in the wind. The shock and terror of this horrifying discovery haunt them for the rest of their lives. Another variant involves a family returning home after a night of trick-or-treating, only to find a gruesome sight in their own backyard or basement: a ghastly figure hanging lifelessly from a makeshift gallows. The family members are left traumatized, grappling with questions about who could have committed such a horrific act. The Halloween hanging legend is often accompanied by warnings to steer clear of certain locations on Halloween night, particularly those with dark histories or sinister reputations. It plays on the primal fear of the unknown and the vulnerability associated with being out in the dark during the spooky holiday. Cropsy. Cropsy is an urban legend, particularly well known in parts of the United States, especially on the East Coast. It's often associated with Staten Island, New York, and has served as inspiration for numerous documentaries, books, and horror movies. The Cropsy legend typically revolves around an escaped mental patient or an eerie, disfigured man who lurks in the shadows, preying on children and unsuspecting victims. According to the legend, Cropsy kidnaps children, often from local neighborhoods or campsites, and takes them to an abandoned or remote location where terrible things are said to happen. The legend has been utilized as a cautionary tale to frighten children, with parents warning them about a sinister Cropsy who would come for them if they didn't stay close or listen to their parents. In reality, the Cropsy legend has been linked to a series of real-life child disappearances and murders in the 1970s and 1980s in Staten Island. A man named Andre Ronde, who had a history of mental illness, was convicted in connection with some of these cases. The legend and the actual crimes became intertwined, further intensifying the fear and fascination surrounding Cropsy. Corpse in the chimney. This gruesome tale often unfolds in various ways, but the core premise remains constant. A homeowner discovers a horrifying secret lurking within the confines of their own home. In one version of the legend, a family moves into an old, decrepit house with a charming rustic fireplace. As they settle in, they begin to notice a persistent and putrid stench coming from the chimney. Initially dismissing it as a simple case requiring a chimney sweep, the odor intensifies over days, reaching a nauseating level. Unable to tolerate the smell any longer, they decide to investigate the chimney. Armed with a flashlight and a sense of dread, they peer into the dark, sooty shaft. making a ghastly discovery: an emaciated, decaying body wedged within the narrow flue. Panic and horror gripped the family as they realized that someone or something had been trapped in their chimney. And the disturbing truth behind this gruesome find begins to unravel. The details of this legend can vary. Sometimes it involves a long-lost family member who mysteriously vanished years ago, while in other versions, it's a heinous crime committed by a previous homeowner seeking to conceal their dark deeds. The Toxic Fumes Lady. The Toxic Fumes Lady, also known as Gloria Ramirez, was a 31-year-old woman brought to Riverside General Hospital in Riverside, California, on February 19, 1994. She was suffering from advanced cervical cancer, experiencing severe pain, and having difficulty breathing. Her medical history included complications from cancer treatment and other health issues. What made Gloria Ramirez's case particularly unusual and tragic was a sequence of events that unfolded during her treatment. When medical staff attempted to draw blood from her, they noticed a strange garlic-like odor coming from her body. Some even reported that her skin had an oily sheen, giving off a mysterious vapor. Several healthcare workers who came into contact with her began experiencing symptoms such as fainting, dizziness, shortness of breath, muscle spasms, and nausea. In response to this bizarre situation, the hospital staff moved Ramirez to an isolation room and continued efforts to stabilize her. Unfortunately, despite their endeavors, she went into cardiac arrest and was pronounced dead shortly after arriving at the hospital. Various agencies, including the Riverside Fire Department, the California Department of Health Services, and the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, were called in to investigate the incident. Investigators believe that some form of chemical exposure might have been responsible for the unusual odors and symptoms experienced by the medical staff. Several theories were proposed, including exposure to dimethyl sulfoxide, a substance that can produce a garlic odor when metabolized by the body. Another theory suggested that cancer treatment might have caused a buildup of toxic chemicals in her body, released during her hospitalization. Ultimately, the exact cause of Gloria Ramirez's death remains disputed, and the case is still the subject of medical and scientific debate. The incident prompted discussions about the safety of healthcare workers and the need for improved protocols in handling potentially hazardous situations in hospitals. What are your thoughts on what happened to Gloria Ramirez? Let's move on to the next tier, the Goat Man. Wandering off with the Goat Man, this captivating and eerie urban legend has held the fascination of people across the United States for many years. The mythological creature is described as a bizarre hybrid, combining the physical characteristics of a human and a goat. Its origins are shrouded in mystery, and it has become a prominent figure in American folklore. The Goat Man legend boasts numerous regional variations, with each locality adding its unique twist to the story. One common element across these tales is the creature's unsettling ability to mimic human voices. It is believed that the Goat Man employs this skill to lure unsuspecting victims into its clutches. In some versions of the legend, the Goat Man dwells in rural areas, deep forests, or near abandoned places. Its presence is often associated with feelings of dread and unease, making it a popular subject for campfire tales and spooky stories told in the dead of night. A particularly famous version of the Goat Man legend hails from Maryland, where it is said to reside in the forests of Prince George's County. According to this local variation, the Goat Man was originally a scientist experimenting with the crossing of human and goat DNA. Something went terribly wrong during this experiment, resulting in the creation of the grotesque Goat Man. This tragic origin story adds a layer of tragedy to the creature's mythos. Despite the many stories and sightings reported over the years, there is no concrete evidence to support the existence of Goatman, firmly rooting it in the realm of urban legends and folklore. Dogboy. In the realm of folklore, the legend of Dogboy emerges like a shadowy specter, haunting the imaginations of many, with variations spanning different regions and cultures. The story typically centers around a young child who, under mysterious and tragic circumstances, finds themselves abandoned or lost in the wilderness, left to fend for themselves. As the tale goes, they are raised by a pack of wild dogs, gradually adopting the behaviors and mannerisms of their canine companions, becoming more animal than human as the years pass. Whispered conversations and campfire tales spread stories of the Dogboy, with locals describing a feral creature lurking in the depths of the forest, surviving on a diet of raw meat and scavenged scraps. Some versions of the legend even claim that the Dogboy possesses supernatural abilities, such as the power to communicate with animals or transform into a wolf. Encounters with the Dogboy are depicted as terrifying experiences, with witnesses recounting unsettling encounters in the wilderness. Tales include eerie howls echoing through the night and sightings of a wild, wolf-like figure, adding to the mystique of the urban legend. Despite the spookiness of the story, there is no evidence online to show that the Dogboy is certified 100% real. Mothman. The Mothman urban legend is nothing short of unique. This creature first gained notoriety in the small town of Point Pleasant, West Virginia, during the mid-1960s. Typically described as a tall, winged humanoid with a wingspan reaching up to 10 feet. Its most distinctive feature is its piercing, glowing red eyes. The Mothman legend truly took flight in November 1966, when several residents of Point Pleasant reported sightings of this unusual creature. Witnesses described it as terrifying, with an unsettling presence that sent shockwaves through the community. What makes the Mothman legend even more intriguing is its association with tragic events. Notably, the collapse of the Silver Bridge on December 15, 1967, resulting in the loss of 46 lives. Some believe that the Mothman sightings were a warning or omen of impending disaster, leading to speculation that the creature somehow connected to the bridge collapse. Over the years, numerous theories have emerged to explain the Mothman phenomenon. Some suggest it's a yet-to-be-discovered species of a creature, while others view it as a supernatural being, or a manifestation of collective fear and anxiety at the time. Skeptics argue that Mothman sightings may be attributed to misidentifications of birds, owls, or other animals. But it's really up to you to decide. Do you really think Mothman is real, or is he just another phony? Black-eyed children. The origins of the black-eyed children legend remain somewhat elusive, gaining more widespread attention in the late 1990s and early 2000s. While it's challenging to pinpoint the exact source of the first account, it's often associated with Brian Bethel, a journalist who claimed a disturbing encounter with BEKs, also known as black-eyed children, in 1996. Descriptions of black-eyed children tend to follow a consistent pattern, as witnesses describe them as children or teenagers, typically between the ages of 6 and 16, with pale or almost porcelain-like skin. The most striking and unsettling feature is their entirely black eyes, devoid of any white or just any other color, setting them apart from other paranormal or supernatural entities. Encounters with black-eyed children often occur in isolated or remote areas, as well as on doorsteps or in parking lots during the evening or night. These beings usually approach individuals or vehicles seeking assistance, such as asking for a ride, money, or permission to enter a home. While their requests may seem innocuous, What distinguishes these encounters is the overwhelming sense of fear or dread experienced by those who interact with them. Witnesses frequently report feelings of intense and irrational fear, describing it as an instinctual response to the presence of black-eyed children. This fear can be so overpowering that it compels people to refuse the children's requests, a reaction most would likely share upon encountering a child with completely black eyes. Despite their seemingly innocuous stories and appearances, there are accounts of people who reluctantly complied with these requests, only to later regret their decisions, believing they narrowly escaped a malevolent force. Various theories attempt to explain the origins of the black-eyed children, with some suggesting that they are supernatural entities, perhaps demons or otherworldly beings. Others propose that they are an urban legend or modern folklore, akin to Slender Man or the Chupacabra, taking on a life of their own in the age of the internet. Skeptics tend to view black-eyed children encounters as products of an overactive imagination or manifestations of the fear of the unknown, arguing that the sense of dread may result from the eerie and unsettling appearance of the black-eyed children rather than any supernatural cause. Chupacabra. The Chupacabra is a legendary creature from Latin American folklore, particularly in New Mexico, Puerto Rico, and other Spanish-speaking regions. Its name translates to goat sucker in Spanish, alluding to its supposed behavior of attacking livestock, especially goats, and draining their blood. Depictions of the Chupacabra may vary, but it's often portrayed as a reptilian or alien-like creature with spikes or quills along its back, sharp claws, and red or glowing eyes. Its primary characteristic is the act of extinguishing animals, leaving them with puncture wounds and drained of blood, akin to a vampire. The legend of the Chupacabra gained widespread attention in the mid-1990s, when reports of livestock deaths and sightings of this mysterious creature began to surface. These reports often described animals, especially goats and chickens, found dead with puncture wounds and no apparent cause of death. This led to a frenzy of speculation and fear in affected communities. Various theories have emerged to explain the Chupacabra phenomenon. Some believe it to be an undiscovered species of a creature, while others view it as a supernatural or extraterrestrial being sent to Earth for unknown purposes, resembling an alien. Skeptics, on the other hand, suggest that Chupacabra sightings and livestock deaths can be attributed to more conventional causes, such as disease, predation by wild animals, or human activities. Teki Teki. Teki Teki is a chilling urban legend from Japan, telling the story of a vengeful spirit or ghost, often depicted as a young woman tragically disfigured or mutilated, typically by a train accident. Her name, Teka Teki, is derived from the sound she makes as she moves. The legend usually involves Teka Teki lurking in urban areas, such as train stations, alleys, or buildings, especially at night. When encountering an unsuspecting victim, she approaches them, dragging her upper body or torso along the ground, as she has no lower half. Despite her gruesome appearance, the terrifying part of the Teka Teki story is that if she catches you, she will slice you in half, mirroring her own gruesome fate. To escape her, one must answer a riddle or outrun her, which is often depicted as an almost impossible task given her speed. La Llorona. La Llorona, also known as the Weeping Woman, is a famous legend in Mexican and Latin American folklore. The tale of La Llorona has many variations, but its core theme revolves around a ghastly woman mourning the loss of her child. The most common version of the legend centers on a woman named Maria, who falls in love with a wealthy man and has his children. However, her lover eventually abandons her, leaving her to raise the child alone. In a fit of despair, Maria drowns her own children in the river. Realizing the gravity of her actions, she is overcome with guilt and grief, beginning to roam the night, weeping and searching for her lost children. La Llorona is also depicted as a ghastly figure dressed in white, her face obscured by her mourning veil, and her cries and wails are said to be heard near bodies of water, especially rivers, as she continues to search for her children. Some versions of the legend suggest that she kidnaps or harms other children, mistaking them for her own. Charlie No Face. Raymond Robinson's life took a tragic turn at a young age when, as a child, he suffered a severe electrical accident, leaving him disfigured with severe facial injuries that required him to wear a mask to cover his disfigurement. His eyesight was also permanently damaged, rendering him blind. Understandably, this left Robinson with a life of hardship and challenges, but he adapted as best as he could. As Robinson grew older, he developed a desire for solitude and independence. He found solace in nighttime walks along a rural stretch of road near Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania. These walks allowed him to escape the confines of his home and experience a sense of freedom and serenity that was difficult to find during the day. However, it was during these nocturnal walks that eventually led to the creation of urban legends surrounding him. Passers-by, especially those unfamiliar with his backstory, would encounter Robinson in the dark, wearing his mask and walking along the road. Given his appearance, it's not surprising that some people were startled or frightened by his sight. In small towns, stories and rumors can spread quickly, often taking on a life of their own. This was the case with Robinson. Over time, tales of the mysterious figure who wandered the road at night became increasingly embellished. Some claimed that his face glowed in the dark, while others said he had a green face or even supernatural powers. The legend of Charlie No Face began to draw curious visitors to the area, some hoping to catch a glimpse of the mysterious figure. Robinson, however, remained a reclusive and private individual who simply wanted to enjoy his nighttime walks in peace. In truth, Raymond Robinson was not a malevolent or supernatural figure. He was just a man who suffered a terrible accident in his youth and had to adapt to a life of challenges and isolation. His story serves as a reminder of how urban legends can sometimes arise from misunderstandings, fear of the unfamiliar, and the human tendency to embellish stories over time. The slit-mouthed woman, also known as Kukichisaki-onna in Japanese, is a terrifying urban legend originating from Japan. The legend centers around a vengeful female spirit or ghost who is disfigured with a slit mouth. According to the legend, the slit-mouthed woman was once a beautiful woman who was either betrayed or disfigured by her husband or lover, resulting in her gruesome appearance. She is often depicted as wearing a mask or surgical mask to conceal her disfigurement. The eerie part about this legend involves her encounters with unsuspecting individuals, often children or pedestrians walking alone at night. She approaches them and asks a seemingly innocent question, like, "Am I beautiful?" Or, "Do you think I'm pretty?" If the person responds negatively with fear, she reveals her terrifying secret by removing her mask to expose her grotesque slit mouth, which extends from ear to ear. Once her disfigurement is exposed, she typically chases the person, brandishing a sharp object or knife with the intent to harm or kill them. However, if the person responds positively, expressing that she's beautiful, she spares them, but then proceeds to ask them the same question again and again, creating an eerie and unsettling cycle. The Jersey Devil. The Jersey Devil, also known as the Leeds Devil, is a legendary creature said to inhabit the Pine Barrens of southern New Jersey, USA. This cryptid is described as a bizarre and malevolent creature with a combination of features, including hooves, bat-like wings, a goat's head, horns, and a forked tail. The legend of the Jersey Devil has been around for centuries and has its roots in local folklore. According to one popular origin story, it is said to be the cursed offspring of Mother Leeds, a woman who, in frustration, exclaimed that her 13th child would be the devil. When the child was born with deformities and soon transformed into the fearsome creature, they flew off into the Pine Barrens, where it's said to have lurked ever since. Sightings and reports of the Jersey Devil have been sporadic over the years, with depictions varying widely. Some claim to have heard eerie screams or seen strange tracks in the woods, attributing this phenomena to the creature, while many sightings have been debunked as hoaxes or misidentifications of other animals. No one will ever really know the truth. Is there some sort of Jersey Devil in the woods? You be the judge. Krampus. Krampus is a mythical creature from Central European folklore, particularly in Austria, Germany, Hungary, and other Alpine regions. Unlike the jolly figure of Santa Claus, who rewards good children, Krampus is a dark and menacing counterpart who punishes naughty children during the Christmas season. Depicted as a horned anthropomorphic creature with a sinister appearance akin to the devil, Krampus has sharp fang teeth, a long pointed tongue, and cloven hooves. He usually carries chains, bells, and a bundle of birch branches called a rutten or a whip, which he uses to swat or lash out at misbehaving children. In some traditions, he also carries a sack or basket to carry away particularly naughty children. On the night of December 5th, known as Krampusnacht, people in some European countries participate in parades and festivals where individuals dress up as Krampus. These events can be both playful and frightening, with Krampus figures running through the streets, scaring spectators, and even playfully swatting them with their birch branches. The Bunny Man. When you think of a bunny, you might just think of a sweet, kind, innocent little creature roaming around, frolicking around in the grass. But this story is not sweet, kind, or innocent. The legend of the Bunny Man begins with the premise that is a mental institution, known by various names in different versions of the story. This institution would be closed down due to budget constraints and concerns about its condition. During the process of transferring the inmates to a new facility, one particularly dangerous individual managed to escape from the transport. This escapee, often referred to as the Bunny Man, is believed to have taken refuge in the dense woods surrounding the area, adopting a white bunny suit as a disguise. The inclusion of the bunny suit costume adds a startling twist to the story. The Bunny Man is often depicted as wielding an axe or another weapon, making him a terrifying presence in local lore. Reports of sightings and encounters with the Bunny Man typically involve individuals who venture near the infamous Bunny Man Bridge, located in Clifton, Virginia. This historic bridge, originally known as the Colchester Overpass, has become linked to the legend. Some versions of the story claim that the Bunny Man haunts the bridge, while others suggest that he just lurks in the surrounding woods. The Bunny Man legend has been passed down through generations, becoming a staple of local folklore in Northern Virginia. It has not only sparked fear, but also curiosity, drawing those intrigued by urban legends and the paranormal to explore the area around the bridge. Over the years, the bridge has seen its fair share of vandalism and urban exploration, contributing to its reputation as a mysterious and eerie location. Let's move on to the next tier, Spring-Heeled Jack. Spring-Heeled Jack is a legendary and enigmatic figure whose exploits have become a significant part of 19th century English folklore. This anonymous character is renowned for his bizarre appearance and seemingly supernatural abilities, both terrifying and captivating the public. Depictions of Spring-Heeled Jack often portray him as a tall, thin man with sharp claw-like fingers and piercing, glowing red eyes. His most extraordinary attribute was his incredible agility, earning him the nickname Spring-Heeled Jack. He was said to leap incredible heights and distances in a single bound, adding to the mystique surrounding him. What makes Spring-Heeled Jack particularly intriguing are the numerous reports of his encounters. Victims claim that he would suddenly appear, often in a dark or secluded area, and subject them to terrifying ordeals. Reports included instances where he would breathe blue flames, scratch his victims, and exhibit other inexplicable behaviors. Young women were often the targets of his attacks. The legend of Spring-Heeled Jack was not limited to one specific location. Reports of his activities emerged from various parts of England, with a particular concentration in London and its surrounding areas. His signature reputation and widespread tales about his antics created a sense of unease and fear among the populace. To this day, the true identity and purpose of Spring-Heeled Jack remains shrouded in mystery and controversy. Some believe he was a supernatural being, while others argue he may have been a hoax or just a flat-out criminal using theatrical tricks to frighten people. Regardless of the explanation, Spring-Heeled Jack has left a mark on British folklore and continues to inspire fascination and speculation in both historical and pop culture contexts. The Monkey Man of New Delhi. In the early 2000s, the bustling streets of Delhi, India, were gripped by a chilling and perplexing urban legend, the Monkey Man. This bizarre creature was said to haunt the city's nights, its appearance a nightmarish fusion of human and monkey features. Witnesses described a humanoid body with a head resembling a monkey and sharp metallic claws that gleamed ominously in the dark. The Monkey Man was not merely a tale of the supernatural. It brought genuine fear and chaos to the city. Reports emerged of mysterious attacks, with victims claiming to have been scratched or bitten by this enigmatic entity. It seemed to prefer the cover of night, striking terror into the hearts of those it encountered before vanishing without a trace. The legend of the Monkey Man quickly spiraled into city-wide panic. Residents took drastic measures to protect themselves, barricading their homes and staying indoors after sunset. News outlets fueled this hysteria with extensive coverage, further cementing this creature's presence in the public imagination. Yet, amidst the fear and frenzy, skepticism lingered. Some believed that the Monkey Man was a manifestation of mass hysteria, superstition, or even the work of criminals using disguises to exploit the chaos. As swiftly as it emerged, the Monkey Man legend eventually faded from the forefront of public consciousness, leaving behind unanswered questions and unresolved mysteries. While many dismissed it as a mere myth, others continue to ponder the strange and unsettling chapter of the Monkey Man in New Delhi's modern folklore. Paul is dead. The Paul is dead theory, a legendary conspiracy that gained notoriety in the late 1960s, centered around Paul McCartney of the Beatles. According to this theory, Paul McCartney died in a car accident in 1966 and was secretly replaced by a look-alike to avoid public mourning and financial losses for the band and the record label. This conspiracy theory thrived on various supposed clues found in Beatles songs, album covers, and lyrics. One of the most famous examples is the Abbey Road album cover, which some interpret as a funeral procession with McCartney walking barefoot out of step with other band members. Other clues were believed to be hidden in song lyrics, particularly when songs were played backward. The rumor was initially propagated by college students and quickly spread, leading to widespread speculation and even panic among Beatles fans. However, it was largely debunked by the band, their management, and McCartney himself in interviews and public appearances. McCartney has humorously addressed the theory, confirming that he is very much alive. Red Cloak. In the shadowy realms of Japanese folklore, the figure known as Akamanto, or Red Cape, weaves a chilling and malevolent tale. This haunting entity is said to lurk within the confines of public restrooms, particularly in schools or public buildings, where it awaits unsuspecting victims. Akamanto is often depicted as a spectral being shrouded in a crimson cloak or cape, sometimes concealing its face with a mask. Its eerie presence is most commonly encountered in the last stall of the restroom. The legend unfolds as a sinister game of choice. When an unfortunate individual enters the restroom and takes refuge in the stall, Akamanto appears without warning, with a soft, ominous voice. It poses a seemingly innocent question, offering a choice between two colors, red paper or blue paper, or red cape or blue cape. Herein lies the cruel twist of the fate. Regardless of the response given, Akamanto unleashes his malevolence upon the chosen victim. Those who dare to select the right option may face a gruesome end, with their throat cruelly slit or subjected to violent harm. Opting for the blue choice offers no salvation either, as it may lead to strangulation or suffocation. Efforts to outsmart or escape Akamanto often prove futile, as it possesses a supernatural ability to track down and exact its terrible punishment upon those who dare to cross its path. The Red Room. The Red Room is a chilling tale rooted in the darkest corners of the internet. It revolves around a mysterious and sinister online space, where anonymous people reign supreme. In this legend, the Red Room emerges as a website or chat room. Those who dare to enter are confronted by a blood-red background that seems to pulse with darkness. Their identities are concealed by usernames, adding to the element of anonymity within this virtual realm. Participants experience a relentless onslaught of disturbing messages from others in the room. Messages that seem to know their deepest, darkest secrets and fears. It's as if the Red Room has a dark sentience of its own, probing into the minds of its captives. But what truly sets the Red Room apart is its inescapable nature. Once you cross its threshold, there's no turning back. Attempts to close the browser or disconnect from the internet prove futile. The room becomes your prison, and its name changes to match your username, marking your presence. The consequences of entering this grim online space are dire, often leading to your torment, psychological suffering, and unspeakable horrors. It's a tale that has captured the imaginations of internet users, illustrating the spookiness of the internet. Let's move down to the next tier. Walking Sam. Walking Sam is a modern urban legend that has gained prominence within the Lakota Sioux community, primarily on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation in South Dakota. This eerie figure is often likened to the more widespread Slender Man legend, but within a unique cultural and societal context. The legend of Walking Sam centers around a tall, faceless entity that is said to roam the Pine Ridge Reservation. This entity is believed to target Native American youth, particularly those who struggle with depression, gossip, or other mental health issues. Some versions of the legend even suggest that if someone sees Walking Sam, they may be driven to self-harm or contemplation of self-harm. One of the notable aspects of this urban legend is how it has been utilized within the Native American community. Rather than purely serving as a source of fear, Walking Sam has been turned into a symbol for raising awareness about mental health issues and prevention. Some individuals and organizations have used this legend to initiate discussions about the challenges faced by Native American youth and the importance of providing support and resources for those in need. The 7 Midnight Jogger. The 7 Midnight Jogger has been circulated in various forms. In this tale, a person goes jogging alone at midnight and encounters a series of eerie or supernatural events along their route. The specifics of the legend can vary, but it typically involves a solitary jogger who decides to go run late at night, often on a deserted road, in a park, or through a forest. As they continue to run, they gradually become aware of strange occurrences or mysterious figures that seem to be following them. Ultimately, the legend builds suspense and fear as the jogger becomes increasingly terrified by the supernatural events unfolding around them. The story often concludes with a shocking or unsettling twist, adding an element of surprise to the eerie journey of the Midnight Jogger. The Night Marchers. The Night Marchers, also known as Hokayapoi in Hawaiian culture are spectral entities that are a part of Hawaiian folklore and urban legends. According to Hawaiian mythology, the Night Marchers are the spirits of ancient Hawaiian warriors who rise from their graves and march at night to protect sacred sites, important leaders, or other significant places. They are often described as a ghostly figure, carrying a torch, chanting, and playing drums. Encountering the Night Marchers is believed to be dangerous in Hawaiian folklore. Legends warn that if you come across these ghostly warriors, you should lower yourself to the ground, avoid making eye contact, and play a special chant called the Ihomai as a form of respect and protection. Looking at them directly or failing to show respect can lead to harm or even death. The belief in the Night Marchers is deeply rooted in Hawaiian culture, and stories about these spectral warriors have been passed down through generations. While some dismiss them as mere legends, others take these tales very seriously and heed the warnings associated with accounting the Night Marchers. They represent a fascinating and eerie aspect of Hawaiian folklore and mythology. Stoll's Gateway to Hell. Stoll's Gateway to Hell is an infamous urban legend centered around Stoll Cemetery in Stoll, Kansas, United States. The legend has gained notoriety for its claims that the cemetery serves as a portal to hell or is associated with paranormal occurrences. At the heart of the legend is the belief that Stoll Cemetery is one of the 7 gateways to hell on Earth. According to the story, the devil himself is said to emerge from the cemetery during specific times, particularly on Halloween and the spring equinox. The legend has been further embellished with reports of ghostly apparitions, strange sounds, and unexplained phenomena within the cemetery's grounds. Over the years, it has gained traction through various internet forums, urban legends, and mentions in pop culture. Some versions of the legend even suggest that access to the cemetery is restricted, with locals guarding it to prevent trespassers. Stoll's Gateway to Hell stands as a chilling and captivating urban legend, drawing attention to the eerie reputation of this cemetery and sparking the imagination of those intrigued by tales of the supernatural. The Well to Hell. The Well to Hell is an urban legend that emerged in the late 1980s, causing a stir in various forms of media and sparking discussions about the afterlife and the limits of scientific exploration. According to this intriguing legend, a group of Russian scientists or engineers embarked on a remarkable drilling project in Siberia known as the Kola Super Deep Borehole. This borehole was a real-world endeavor undertaken by the Soviet Union during the 1970s and 1980s, aiming to explore the Earth's crust to unprecedented depths. However, the legend takes a hair-raising twist when it claims that during the drilling process, the team reached a depth of approximately 7 miles and unexpectedly broke to hell itself. In this terrifying narrative, the scientists reportedly lowered a microphone into the borehole to capture data from these remarkable depths. What they reportedly recorded sent shivers down their spines. The unearthly, blood-curdling screams of tormented souls suffering in hell. This spine-tingling story has circulated widely through the word of mouth, emails, and other forms of communication, leaving many to ponder its implications. However, it's essential to clarify that the Well to Hell legend is almost entirely devoid of concrete evidence to support its claims. While the Kola Super Deep Borehole was indeed a genuine scientific undertaking, no verified records or scientific reports show that it served as a gateway to hell. The Fatal Flare. The Fatal Flare, an urban legend that circulates in the context of taxis or rideshare services, is an unsettling tale that revolves around a passenger innocently seeking a ride, only to then encounter a driver with hidden malevolent intentions or some sort of sinister secret. In this legend, the passenger initially believes that they're dealing with an ordinary driver, but as the journey progresses, the driver's behavior becomes increasingly unsettling and disturbing. The passenger's sense of vulnerability intensifies as they realize they are isolated within the confines of the vehicle. As the story reaches its climax, the passenger often finds themselves in a life-threatening situation, narrowly escaping harm or even death through their own quick thinking, courage, or sheer luck. Sometimes, they manage to send out a warning to others, preventing further potential victims from falling into the same dangerous trap. The fatal flare legend taps into common fears related to getting into a vehicle with a stranger and underscores the vulnerability of being alone with someone whose true intentions are concealed. 10 Dreams. The 10 Dreams urban legend is a chilling narrative that has been shared in various forms. It typically revolves around an individual who experiences a sequence of 10 increasingly horrifying dreams. What sets this legend apart is the gradual escalation of terror within the dream sequence. At the outset, the dreams might seem ordinary or unremarkable, but as the dreamer progresses through them, they become progressively more nightmarish. Tension builds, and by the time they reach their 10th dream, the dreamer is often confronted by supernatural or paranormal entities. These entities typically issue ominous warnings, cautioning the dreamer against completing the final dream. The legend suggests that dire consequences will befall the dreamer in the waking world once they reach the 10th dream. Fear is able to grip the dreamer as they grapple with terrifying visions and foreboding knowledge that something dreadful awaits them. One of the unsettling aspects of this legend is its unresolved ending, leaving the fate of the dreamer up in the air. This open-endedness adds to the sense of mystery and unease surrounding the story. The Rat King. The Rat King urban legend is a dark and eerie tale that revolves around a group of rats mysteriously bound together, forming a grotesque and monstrous entity. This legend is characterized by its supernatural themes and ominous atmosphere. In the legend, the Rat King is often comprised of 6 or more rats whose tails have been strangely knotted or entangled. What sets this legend apart is its attribution of the phenomenon to supernatural forces, suggesting that dark magic, curses, or powers are responsible for the rat's eerie fusion. This supernatural entity is depicted as a nightmarish creature with multiple heads, eyes, or limbs, amplifying its horrifying appearance. Encountering or witnessing the Rat King is believed to bring misfortune, illness, or even death to those who cross its path, adding to the sense of dread surrounding the legend. In some versions, the Rat King is woven into superstitions and folk beliefs, serving as an ominous omen of impending disaster or doom. The legend plays on the primal fears of the unknown, the unnatural, and the uncanny, making it a very scary narrative. Water Babies. The Water Babies urban legend is a story that has intrigued and spooked people for generations. This eerie tale has taken on various forms and adaptations over the years, often depending on the region or culture in which it's told. At its core, the legend revolves around the belief that the spirits of infants who have met tragic and untimely deaths, particularly through drowning, linger in a supernatural form in bodies of water. These water babies are said to be trapped between the realms of the living and the afterlife, seeking some form of closure or solace. One common thread in the legend is the notion that these babies can be heard crying or wailing near bodies of water, especially during the night. These ghostly cries are said to be both heart-wrenching and chilling, sending shivers down the spines of anyone who hears them. Some versions of the story even suggest that these spirits can mimic the cries of real babies, luring curious or concerned individuals to the water's edge. There's a strong element of caution within the Water Babies legend, serving as a warning to people, particularly those living near bodies of water or in rural areas, about the potential dangers of approaching water alone, especially at night. The legend suggests that venturing too close to the water's edge can lead to encounters with these restless spirits, resulting in dire consequences for the unexpecting. pond monster. In Epping Forest Pond, there are several urban legends associated with ponds and bodies of water. Given the forest's rich history and the mysterious ambiance of its woodlands, one of the most common urban legends is centered around a supposed creature or entity inhabiting the ponds. These legends often describe a mysterious creature lurking beneath the waters, much like the Loch Ness Monster or other lake and pond monster myths. In some old versions of the legend, witnesses claim to have seen strange ripples or heard eerie sounds coming from the depths of Epping Forest Pond, leading to speculation about the existence of hidden aquatic creatures. Pinky Pinky. In the heart of South Africa, among the vibrant tapestry of local folklore and ghost stories, there exists a chilling tale known as the legend of Pinky Pinky. This urban legend has been whispered among school children for generations, sending shivers down their spines and making them think twice before venturing into the ominous territory of school restrooms. Pinky Pinky, as the story goes, is a special entity with a penchant for targeting young girls, lurking in the shadows of school bathrooms. What sets this supernatural being apart is its particular appearance, a figure draped in a pink towel with shockingly pink hair, hence the name Pinky Pinky. The legend serves a dual purpose in South African culture. It acts as a cautionary tale, warning children against venturing into restrooms alone, especially during moments of solitude. The mere thought of Pinky Pinky's presence is enough to keep children from straying away too far from the safety of their friends or teachers. The legend is fueled by a sense of mystery and dread, with those who dare to venture in the restroom alone reportedly encountering Pinky Pinky. In some variations of the legend, Pinky Pinky is said to emerge from the mirrors or toilets, while in others, it simply materializes in a ghostly form, ready to harm or abduct the unsuspecting child. Black Volga. The legend of the Black Volga has its roots in Eastern European imagination and has been whispered among communities for decades. The heart of this legend beats within the mysterious and menacing black car, often identified as the high-end Volga sedan. This vehicle becomes the central character in a series of terrifying tales that have woven their way into the cultural fabric of the region. The Black Volga is typically depicted as an imposing automobile with jet black bodywork and tinted windows that obscure the occupants from view. Its driver is shrouded in mystery, often portrayed as a shadowy chauffeur or a bewitching woman with an air of malevolence. The legend revolves around the ominous car, believed to be involved in a series of disturbing and inexplicable events. The stories often involve the Black Volga abducting or targeting vulnerable individuals, with a particular focus on children or young women. The motives behind these abductions range from things like SA or organ trafficking, all the way to things like the supernatural, including things like rituals and occult practices. In some versions of the legend, it is said that the Black Volga is the harbinger of doom, appearing before disasters or tragic events. The legend of the Black Volga serves as a testament to the enduring power of folklore in urban legends. The Vanishing Hotel Room. The Vanishing Hotel Room urban legend is a spine-tingling tale that has circulated in various forms and versions around the world. This legend typically involves a traveler who checks into a hotel room for the night, only to experience a series of bizarre and unsettling events. In this legend, the traveler arrives at a seemingly ordinary hotel and is assigned to a room for the night. However, as the night progresses, strange things start to happen. These events can include furniture moving on its own, eerie sounds echoing through the room, and unexplained apparitions or ghost figures appearing. The most unsettling part of the legend is when the traveler attempts to leave the room the next morning, only to find out it has completely vanished. In some versions of the story, the hotel staff denies the existence of the room altogether, leaving the traveler baffled and terrified. The vanishing hotel room legend plays on the fear of the unknown and the idea that even the most mundane and familiar places, like a hotel room, can become the source of horror and confusion. It also raises questions about reality, perception, and the nature of the supernatural. 999 phone charging. The 999 phone charging urban legend is a modern tale that serves as a cautionary reminder about the potential dangers of using public charging stations or borrowing charging cables from strangers. This legend often goes something like this. A person is out and about when they notice their smartphone's battery is critically low. In a moment of desperation, they approach a charging station or ask a stranger if they can borrow a charging cable. The helpful stranger agrees and hands them a cable, directing them to a charging station. The person plugs in their phone and waits as the charging process begins. However, as their phone charges, they notice strange behavior on their device. In some versions, it's a message that says something like "access granted," while in others, unfamiliar apps install themselves, or the phone settings suddenly change. Realizing that something is amiss, the person quickly unplugs their phone, and the legend usually concludes with the revelation that the stranger or the charging station itself was hacking the phone. The charger or cable was rigged to access the person's phone and potentially steal personal information or install malware. Phantom social workers. The phantom social worker urban legend is a harrowing and cautionary tale that has circulated in various forms over the years. It often revolves around a parent or guardian receiving a visit or phone call from an individual claiming to be a social worker from a government agency. In this legend, the supposed social worker informs the parent that there have been reports and concerns about the welfare of their child. The parent is told that they must cooperate with an investigation, and their child may be taken into protective custody if they fail to comply. The social worker asserts their authority and may even arrive at the home in an official-looking vehicle. What makes this urban legend particularly scary is the sense of urgency and intimidation involved. The parent or guardian is pressured to comply immediately, leading to panic and confusion. In some versions of the story, the so-called social worker may request personal information or access to the child's room. The twist in this legend obviously occurs when the parents become suspicious or contact local authorities. KFC chicken conspiracy. The claim that KFC chicken isn't actually chicken is presented simply as that, an assertion without official backing. The lack of concrete evidence or official statements leaves it pretty open-ended, allowing individuals to interpret and speculate about the authenticity of KFC's chicken. The baby train. The baby train legend typically revolves around the idea of a mysterious train that appears in small towns or remote locations in the dead of night, picking up unwanted or abandoned babies. The train is described as old and eerie, with dimly lit carriages. Parents who no longer want or can care for their infants can supposedly leave them at designated spots for the train to collect, providing the babies with a new home or a better life. The legend serves as a cautionary tale, warning against being out at night when the baby train is said to appear. Ratman. The Ratman urban legend is a spooky or cautionary tale that has been shared in various forms over the years. It usually centers around a mysterious individual known as the Ratman, depicted as a hermit-like figure with a peculiar appearance, sometimes resembling features of a rat. The Ratman is said to live in seclusion, often in a remote or abandoned place like an old house, cave, or underground tunnel. The legend attributes unsettling or malevolent behavior to that of the Ratman, with rumors of danger, especially to children, and mysterious disappearances or acts of vandalism in the area. London Monster. The London Monster was not just an urban legend, but a real historical figure who terrorized London in the late 18th century. Between 1788 and 1790, the London Monster carried out a series of attacks on women in the streets of London. The assailant would accost women in public places and stab them with sharp implements, often targeting their thighs. The attacks caused widespread panic, leading to increased surveillance and patrols in the city. The London Monster, identified as Renwick Williams, was captured in 1790, found guilty, and sentenced to imprisonment. The motive behind the attacks remains a subject of debate, with some suggesting a desire for notoriety or attention. Actual Cowhead. The urban legend from Japan about a story so terrifying that reading it may lead to death or insanity involves a creature described as having the body of a man or boy and the head of a cow or ox. The story revolves around the bones of the creature being uncovered, linked to a village facing starvation. A stranger with the head of a cow arrives, and the villagers devour him. The story is claimed to be shivering and possibly deadly to those who read it. However, the authenticity of the story is questionable, and it seems to be associated with the Japanese movie titled Gozu, where a character sports a cow-headed appearance. The movie draws its roots from Japanese and Chinese mythologies, specifically Buddhism, with the creature Kudon playing a role as a guardian figure. The cowhead myth appears to be a complex narrative with multiple origins and cultural influences, and its interpretation can vary. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please hit that subscribe button, because I am currently at 0 subscribers. Have a good day.